Hi, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, just a little hi. Today, just another record of what I've got today. And today I've just got another commemorative banknote, the 40th anniversary of Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Now, if you notice and quite aware, I've actually bought one of these 2-3 weeks ago from the numismatic convention in Kuala Lumpur, which I've already presented. So at that time when I bought this note, um, I didn't realize I've already got one, but I had a second thought about this note actually. I have a second thought about this note. The At that time, I was thinking, hey, what was the difference between this one and the one that I have? Of course, the one that I have already bought a few weeks back is a nicer number. It's a 666 number. So I remember 666. But the only difference is this is a double A. So assuming double A is still considered for them as first prefix. A lot of the commemorative banknotes are typically around majority of the country. They will have a specific prefix number to commemorate certain things. Like for example, that I just recently rediscovered, rekindled one of my banknotes at the today's market. One of it is the 5 British sterling pound with the prefix number of Hong Kong. Hong Kong 97 is to commemorate of handing over Hong Kong from British control to the People's Republic of China, or generally we just say to hand over to China. And also some commemorative banknote that relates to like Queen Elizabeth Jubilee or birthday or something like that, or Platinum Jubilee or Golden Jubilee. Some of the banknotes like the Caribbean, they'll put QE 60 or Q60. So some of the prefix for commemorative banknotes have that. But if the country or the bank decided commemorative banknote doesn't have a specific prefix, then it falls down to the generic of starting with A1 or AA, depends on the serialized of their banknotes, a prefix numbers and so forth. So for Eastern Caribbean Central Bank or Eastern Caribbeans, they started with AA 00000001. The first number will be that. So luckily I had thought about it, so I bought a double A, because previous one that I bought is actually AB. So AB is not the first prefix, it's already the finish of the first AA series. Probably the first AA series is AA 9999999, then it changed to AB 000001, something like that. So the banknote, everything still remain the same physically. It's polymer, beautiful. I love this one actually. The size is very fitting for as a $2 and being facing as a commemorative. I think it's still stunning. I would just say again, it's as a polymer and a color is very beautiful and still very stunning in its view, even as a other than its numismatic collection. If it's still a legal tender as a $2, and if commonly used by the public, I think it's still wonderful. And a lot of their polymer notes in East Caribbean should reflect something like this for the next future banknotes they have. So I think it is a very good track of for commemorative banknotes to have such a uh, tactics of the gouache, uh, and also the colors and the patterns, the layouts. The serial number works both ways rather than put one side. Of course, this banknote is meant to look like portrait rather than the conventional landscape in portrait, but you know the serial numbers, they have it in vertical, they'll have it in sorry, it did, I think this banknote, when they have this serial number, they should put this one follow this pattern of vertical side, having a facing this direction. It will suit that people looking at it is eye catching, and then when you turn it this way, you still have a serial number facing the same direction. But it chose to have the serial number, both of them facing correct position on a conventional landscape position. If you look at the back, everything is actually vertical. Everything is actually in vertical look rather than landscape. So it's in the portrait, as most people would say, portrait or vertical position. But for me, I like it. For going something like this is something, I would say, something new that is very lacking in people scene. Of course, it's nothing new. It has been used before, even during 1930s by the Republic of China as the gold custom unit. They used this vertical or portrait layout in most of their banknotes. So it's nothing new using vertical uh, layouts. It's just very uncommon that any government or any bank or any engravers designing it would think of using a mainstream of a normal issue banknote in such manner as vertical. The only one that I know that they have transitioned to becoming normality using this kind of layout is Swiss franc, Switzerland. If you see most of the Swiss banknotes, they are all in this position. They are the only banknote I know in the world that's, I mean, commonly known by anyone just by the click in a finger what country uses uh, this kind of format. Switzerland would be it. The second one that will use this system is Venezuela. During the hyperinflation they had, even till today, they're still using the format like this. The other one that I can think out of my mind, top of my mind, is probably just uh, Argentina. If I'm not mistaken, Argentina also use this. Now I don't collect Argentinian banknotes, even the older the like just a couple of years back kind of banknotes. I do collect those before the inflation happens. Those more older banknotes, probably 1980s if I'm not mistaken. But I don't have the newer ones. But I did read some articles. Argentina has new denomination banknotes like the 2000 pesos. Of course, the previously 1,000 pesos is in orange color. They are in actually portrait. They changed from vertical to portrait, and then the 2000s they are also doing the same in a landscape rather than portrait. It's not longer portrait. The 2000s is actually the most recently new denomination as that country hitting bad economically during that time. But probably this year or next year or future so, with the new radical president they have elected, who is quite I would say ultra liberal president. I think maybe their country is shifting to a better position, so we will not see any higher denomination banknotes using pesos, because he's encouraging his country using US dollar rather than relying on Argentinian pesos as his so-called in his one his suggestion. So today, that's it. I have only this one to present. Nothing much. A lot of the things I've already bought. A huge amount of it, including. I don't have much of expenditure to continue to purchase things that is I wanted rather than I needed. So I am keeping this time a bit simpler, more resistant. I actually had one event, some dealer that I've known for a couple of years back. He's just sent me some information that he has the People's Republic of China's banknote for, if I'm not mistaken, the second series um, for the 5 yuan. I'm so tempted because it is one of those collection that I actually needed. Let me show you. Probably I just record it here, so I'll probably just show it some to the public what I'm talking about. Yeah, the ones I'm talking about is actually there are actually two variations, this one and this one. So the one that he has is actually this one, all right, which is sorry, which is the which is the type of the ones that is more expensive. He actually has this one, but at a lower condition, probably at very good to very fine condition. Good to very fine condition. He has this one. I mean, to get this one uncirculated or extremely fine is way expensive. If you look at China's pricing for the retail out, this is retail price in, and this is retail price out. The highest condition, probably the highest in the market, you could fetch about 33,000 renminbi or 33,000 yuan, which is calculated in Malaysia. Just divided to 100 is 100 renminbi is about 60 ringgit. I would say about 14,000 ringgit for a high graded. Middle grade about 15,000. That's about, let's say, probably about 8 to 9,000 ringgit. And the lowest condition is 4,000 renminbi, probably roughly around a 2,200 ringgit. He was actually offering a price at 1,600, but actually even in the low condition, when I cross-check with eBay pricing and also the previous purchase in auction house with such condition that he is having, which is like good to very fine, that's probably roughly around two in number scale, I would say 20, about 12 to a 20. I won't go far as 30. If 30, that is at best. But that one I have not physically seen that banknote itself, so I do not want to put it that high to fine. But good to verify, good to to find, probably around range 12 to 20. If I would like to put a scale of what I see from the photo he's offering, that would put a price range in the catalog books, in the eBays that the people are selling in around that dimension that he's selling. Probably at best is 800 to 900 ringgit. But for him to asking price at 1,600 at the beginning, he asked about it, is quite expensive. I told him this was too high, so he lowered down to 1,200. Sorry, he didn't lower down to 1,200. I actually told him that at least at best probably is 1,200 ringgit for it. But at the moment, this month or even next month, I'm not able to pay him at full price of that. So I asked that based on the catalog book and based on the previous auction, on his kind of condition that he's selling, I was bargaining to him to about 800, 600 to 800 at best. So his and I gave him advice. I just don't want to push him away because probably in the future I wanted to do more business dealings with him because he's quite resourceful. I would say, as a dealer, he's quite resourceful when he has. A good dealer is always resourceful in the sense that he is able to gather banknotes or any items that you desire. So I did tell him that I actually looking for banknotes that are from China, uh, from mainland China. I don't collect Taiwan. I rarely collect Macau and Hong Kong. If they are good, I I would try to collect them. I do collect Koreans, and my most focus is Japan, the Empire of Japan, during from Meiji period and to today. I don't collect anything in Japan that is before Meiji era, so it should not be before 19th century. During like shogun times or the feudal times, I try to avoid that. There are a lot also to collect in those periods, um, and also quite cheap, but there are way too many to collect. And even those times, they don't have currency in the paper form that much. Most of them are circulated in coins. So if you collect coins, probably for Japanese, it will be fine. But banknotes currency in Japan start to appear in a paper format. Most of it, majority, happened after the Meiji era when westernization happened. When Japan start to have westernization period. Yeah. So that is my major, and my other major is actually United States, which is he's not so specific in dealing United States currency, especially the old ones. He deals the modern one probably, yeah. You can see them having it now after Second World War kind of banknotes, which is quite mundane. They're all the same design patterns. But I'm looking for silver certificate. I'm looking for Hawaii banknotes. I'm also looking for silver certificate in North Africa campaign. I'm looking for legal tender notes and blah blah blah. So basically, a lot of people don't understand what I'm talking about. Most of the dealers here in Malaysia don't know what I'm talking about in the US currency. There are few currency, even that kind of currency in the United States. I try to avoid postal stamps currency, fractional currency at the moment. They are beautiful, to be honest, the fractionals ones, but I try to avoid collecting them until I'm quite satisfied within the range of my collection for the regular banknotes. The national banknotes, chartered banks for the United States, that category, I also strive not to collect those. I also at the moment strive not to collect the high denominations. The idea right now for me in the United States currency collection is to categorize, to collect the variation in the low denomination. Rather than completing by chapter, I'm going to spread out through all the chapters as much as I can, but in a small denomination where they are more accessible, more feasible for me to collect. You know, I don't expect myself to collect one chapter that has a 10,000 US dollar banknote. I have to get until 10,000 US dollar, which is very impossible for me. I do not have the capital or the wealth to accumulate that much to acquire such a banknote. A 10,000 US dollar banknote, probably 1928 or to 1930s, those kind of banknotes probably will cost a fortune. A six-figure in US currency, they can reach up to 1 million ringgit. So it's utterly ridiculous and impractical for me, and there's no joy in collecting by just acquiring all my capital just to buy one note. So for me, United States notes is quite fairly difficult to collect. Even the small denominationals, the older ones, like the one that my favorite one is the educational series, is already quite expensive. They're in they're not in hundreds, they're in thousands of ringgit. But of course in the United States it's more than $300 or $200 for the worst condition you might can acquire. For the education series, $1. So that is one of the things that I had. So one of my faithful dealers, he contacted me personally, telling me he has this one, and I told him, it's, at the moment I don't have that kind of money, and he's asking for 1,600 is too high. For such a condition, he told me, what is your proposed offer, counter offer? I told him 600 to 800 based on the book. Then he told me that I try to lower it down to be fair to him. Probably I might reconsider if 1,200. He 1,200. I might consider that actually myself at that point, but 1,200 is also too expensive for what he's offering in that kind of condition of that banknote. But I do understand this banknote. You won't see this in the market very common compared to this one. This one, on the other hand, let me get. This one, on the other hand, is much cheaper. The most expensive one you might probably get is around the range of, probably a range of 2,500 renminbi. For this note, this is a much later note than this one. This is 53. This is 6. This is 56. This series is much more expensive, and you can see here this one, this one, the highest one is 2,500 renminbi. That's probably around 1,300, 1,400 ringgit for an uncirculated banknote in this market. Of course, this book is published in 2021, and the problem with the Chinese banknotes, their influx is quite fast because China is a growing economy. A lot of the new gentries, new millionaires, new wealth acquired citizens in China, they too started to try to spend their disposable income available to them to buy collections like this as an investment. And that's the point. Then this is one of the good example. One great example is this. I acquired this when I was a kid. At that time I bought it less than 50 ringgit. Of course, this in China at that time was 2001 or 2002. I acquired this banknote, and this banknote has a very unique, how do I say, watermark. As you can see, I put it near closer to the lamp. You can see this. This is the watermark pu, or the ancient coin in China. This is much more harder to find, and you know how much I got it. Of course, based on its condition, I think it's quite generously, I would say, is very fine condition, very extremely fine. I think it's a good at very fine condition, or because there's not much of tears here, the shape is still in, the inks are still strong. I would say very fine will be good, even if you are very strict. Fine is or fine choice would be the great condition level, more than 25, I would say this one. But anyway, this watermark is actually very rare. This is a ancient coin pool with this condition. At that time I bought this when I was still in high school. In high school, using my lunch cafeteria money that I have collected, my allowance that I had for the month for my own expenditure, I save it. I got this one. At that time, I remember I bought this one for a mere, at most, I was just say at most, I got this for 50 ringgit. Yeah, I got this for 50 ringgit. At that time, China wasn't yet open up just started to open up. The mainland China started to open up their country, and the people start to get into the so-called the capitalist dream structure of their country. So they only started to acquire huge amount of capital. The citizens, the disposable income, probably around 2005 or 2006. So from that on period, this banknote. So from that on, this banknote actually just a lot of all the Chinese banknote they just skyrocket. So like this one, I got it for 50 ringgit. So this book's would tell how much is it. There it is. This book is saying that the price for this one is for good condition. Out of a retail shop, price is 2,400 renminbi. That's about 1,003. That's probably about 1,250 or 1,260 ringgit. Okay, this is for there are two types of watermarks. Oh, sorry, this book didn't tell it is high, medium, and low price. So it's quite a bit unreliable. But I do know this one specifically. This note, 2 yuan, is one of the rare ones. So there are two types of watermarks. This is considered as the 5-star watermarks. This is the pool watermark. So the one I had, this one, under the light, you can see like this shape, like a so-called a fork, actually, like a fork. If you can see that, it's like a fork there, like this one. You can see that it's like a fork, and then a hollow star like this, and then the fork here. This type of watermark is this one, and at good price. I'm not too sure. It's just written 3,000 renminbi, so it's probably about 1,800 ringgit at the optimum price. For my condition, probably at 1,002 or 1,003 ringgit. Anyway, I bought this at 50 ringgit. I got this for 50 ringgit. Now some say this might be a counterfeit, but based on the time that I purchased this note, okay, the time frame, statistically, it could not be counterfeit. I got this in the 2002 time. People start to acquire wealth and started to buy and invest in currency like this, the old currencies, as a investment and collection. Most of it start to jump around 2005, 2006 in China. Now, when they see that those jump, then that is the period of the time where the counterfeit starts to go up rapidly, because they know this. A lot of people at that time still don't understand how to identify whether it's a counterfeit or genuine. And for China, if they are the one who counterfeited, they make duplicates or copy, they are always expected to be the highest quality of counterfeits. So there is a spark of people are quite scared and have awareness on the Chinese banknote, especially those that are so-called valuables and hard to acquire. They are quite scary. They are actually quite scary. The other banknotes, for example, that I had is the same one, but a different watermark sale is this one. You compare to this one and the top one, you can see there. If you compare it, the top one is very beautiful. Yes, I acquired this one from my friend. So he got this one. If I just check with him, I got this one around 500 ringgit. So at that 500 ringgit, and the watermark underneath this, and the watermark, if you see it, can you see it? These are actually the star pointed ones. So this one actually, according to it, is the common one. break my lemma, is the common type. So these are the five pointed stars here. You see that? Yep. So these are much more common type of banknotes. So acquiring this one is about 2,400 RMB. And if with such a condition, I think my condition would be about uncirculated. Some might say is EF, extremely fine, but the thing is, I don't see any folds. I still see sharp angles here, and I compare with this note together. I put it overlaid. This is actually slightly longer, so size wise could be different, but of course with different watermarks means the cutting will be different from a different machine, from different place, different time. So there are always those so-called small acceptable errors, you know. But in Chinese authenticating, they will actually spot this kind of things where it is on is real. So today actually I actually brought this to one of my dealers. He's actually a good partner. One is specialized in most of the Southeast Asia currency. The other one who is actually specialized in mainland Chinese, because actually she's from mainland. She deals. She's actually born in China, but work and stay in long term in Malaysia. So most of the time, if anything, I had Chinese banknote that I acquire from my friend, or I buy it from someone or auction. Most of the time I actually will present it to her so that she can spot it and check it out whether it's genuine or not, because I know the fact that I'm not a professional person who can identify it, but close enough I learn from her, and probably I have actually know how it is. So I learned a lot from her actually, and having conversation with her, talking about Chinese banknotes and how to identify it as genuine and rarities, is pretty surprised. And believe me or not, she did tell me that many of the Chinese mainlanders who come to Malaysia actually come and find all these kind of rare banknotes, and they purchase it and they bring it back to China and sell it at a higher price, way higher price in China, according to what she told. So most of the time when she has some new products, good condition one, like almost like this, and it is a rare type of watermarks or so forth, or the replacement notes numbers, yes, there is a replacement note for this, she will tend to say ask, let me know she has it. And most of the time I would probably be the first few person know about it and ask whether I would like to buy it or purchase it before these mainlanders come and grab it from her. Because once she opened it out in the public, in a couple of days they will know and they will just come and buy it from her. And most of the time they will come on Saturday, which I don't have the time to come and buy it. Probably they'll come on Saturday, I only come on Sunday, I only go there for Sundays. So a lot of times I will miss out. But sometimes she just keep it up, be reserved, and let me know. She did many times for me in such a favor, but a lot of times those notes are very expensive. I felt guilty to buy it because I don't have that resources at that point to acquire it. So like this one, I got it around, my friend bought it around 500 ringgit. So I'm actually paying him in a good deal 600 with him. Probably I could get this one graded in PMG. I think this is worth it. To me, I think this is worth it to be PMG because of this condition and rarity. I think it's worth it because this could fetch probably around 1,500 ringgit and above. So it's almost double already my investment at the moment. Yeah. So I just need to. So the question that should I grade it, and which company should I grade it. I think I have explained that in my previous video about my opinions on uh, which company you should use for grades, whether it's local or overseas, or and talking about whether the notes is valuable enough to be graded. Is it rare enough to be graded? Like this is a good example. I think it should be graded. Yeah. So yeah, I think this would be. I think this should be fine for. I think this should be fine for setting out for grading. I think this should be fine to setting out for grading. Yeah, sure. Everything is very beautiful. Actually, when I look at it, it looks very beautiful. I didn't see any lines, but when I showed it to her, she was considering around EF. I'm not too sure what is missing in as a defects here. As you can see, I don't know what are the defects here, but if she say it that way, probably it's right. I trust her opinion. I mean, and I learn from her. She gives a very good opinions about the Chinese banknotes like this. But anyway, we'll see about that. Another good example of a rare Chinese banknote is like this one. Yes, I got this one graded in my last video. I just reiterated again. This is 40 extremely fine. This note. Of course, from the front, it looks like an ordinary one jiao note, or should I say 10 cent. Literally means 10 cent in English, or 1 jiao in Chinese, without watermark, sadly. But this is not the most expensive one. This is the second most expensive of this variation. The most expensive variation is with watermark. Those are even rarer than this one. And now, according to her, the dealer who is the expert in the note, what she gave me information in China, most of it in China is in information, is this notes at that period, as a period at the time, earlier days, they consider this as forgery, because the ones, if you see with this kind of banknote with the green labels on the side here and the brown in the center and the green on the left side and the right side, so forth, this note only exists, the earlier days are all watermark, because this type is very rare. The watermark at today, if you find it, they are at least even in bad condition, less like around 20-25, they cost roughly around 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit minimum. I would say that, because that's what is being auctioned out in price in auction house, in eBays and online shops. They're selling around that price. But for those like selling around 40 and above kind of grades, they're fetching around 8,000, 9,000 ringgit. They are really at the top of notch price with watermark. On the other hand, they found that the recent few years back, I would say probably 10 years, just like people in China started to collect, they found these notes with similar background like this, but no watermark. And then if the correlates with the bank and the bureau who engravers in China's printing and bureau, not bureau, I mean China's printing company, they actually acknowledge that yes, they printed this note without watermark. So what is a good coincidence that, because a lot of the printing is actually very genuine and is without watermark, so they declare it as genuine, and then that's the story goes. And this is actually considered as the second rarest denomination. I got this one probably at a very generous price from my friend, 200 ringgit. So I gave him 250. So I gave him 250 extra 50 ringgit for his trouble. So he got it from Europe anyway, so I'm not too sure about the whole story back there, but I only know that when he gave it to me, and I willing to I give him hands off from him about two 250 ringgit. He asked for 200 if it's possible. I say yeah, I give him 250. He's my uh, good friend anyway. So yeah, so I acquired this note and then I actually sent it for PMG and I got it returned 40 extremely fine. So I'm quite happy with this one. So with all this journey I had with the new notes, I have on China notes. On the China notes, they are quite uh, adventurous to find. The biggest journey in for collecting Chinese banknote, the first series, the second series, and the third series, the biggest joy is finding is identifying whether it's a genuine note or not. That's always the biggest game. Because a lot of the eBays, even right now, I can smell it. They're selling the first series. They are look from the photos. They look very ungenuine. They look like counterfeit, and some of them are quite poor counterfeits. Banknotes. A lot of it they use very high tech lithograph system printing. Whereas you can identify the notes that are not supposed to be lithographed. They're supposed to be guillotch. You know those sorry, it's supposed to be with guillotch together with vignette printing, so it's supposed to be have those embossings feel, and this notes definitely they have embossing, so it's very difficult to print this type of note, especially this border motif bottom here, in a lithograph, because they're too flat. The colors in the picture you'll see too flat, like this one. The back of this note, the back of this note here, these are all actually lithograph print. This is actually a lithograph print, and this is actually embossing print here. This entire thing is all embossed. There is an ink pressed, so it's all embossed. They are bold. You can see the ink stuck there, and it gives out this kind of color, especially this type in the background here, where there's a light and dark, light and dark, light and dark, light and dark, light and dark. These are very detailed. When you use lithograph, it's hard to come out in such a variation colors of this green. The picture they take, they scan, it looks flat, like this, very very flat. So yeah. So as I said, I actually had an offer for this, and then he was actually offered my best price at 1,400. I mean, 1,400 is still way above my suggestion of price. Even I bought it and I'm trying to sell to somebody at the same time, nobody's going to dare to pick it up for 1,006 or 1,004, let alone asking me to buy 1,006. I felt it's not worth it. Then he said, he did say that yesterday night he got plenty of buyers are offering at 1,002. Then I told him, fine, let it go. I just said, let the, you're the seller. I don't mind not getting it. Thank you for calling me for as a first person to lock in or not. So I just let it go. Ask him, if they want to lock in at 1,002, you think they are fine, go ahead. And this morning he called me again to reconfirm his lowest price at 1,002, whether you want me to lock in or not. That was just peculiar. Man, really? He asking me at 1,002 when yesterday night he told me, he did inform me that there are a lot of them. So there should not be any reason to call me again. I mean, text me again, message me again saying that recounter his price proposal to 1,002 and asking me whether you want it and lock it. I just said, I thought yesterday you had some buyers for that, or 1,002. I just being fed to you that I'm not. I'm just, I just tell him. I just tell him. I told him that I really want this banknote. Honestly saying, I want this banknote. I really do. Even in the worst condition, because this is way too much. I can't find an uncirculated banknote at this kind of 15 or 16,000 ringgit, and that is 2021 price. Probably today is reaching at 19 or 20,000 ringgit for an uncirculated price of this note. Probably at that price or even higher if it's graded. I couldn't afford to get it, so I know that I have to compensate getting this note at a lower grade, probably at fine, very fine. At best, probably if I can get a good price, extremely fine for such a note. But I do know at this point in time, I was not able to get this note from him. Then he asked me this morning 1,200, would you like it a lot? I told him I really love this note. I really wanted to have this note, but this month I am not able to give him a full payment of 1,200. If you still want to really genuinely want to give it to me for that price, can I pay you in monthly installment? I can pay him like half of it end of this month and another half in next month or mid next month kind of thing. So I was telling him that because I already had a commitment that I've already purchased before 2 days ago in an auction house for a note, and I had a dealer making a deal with me on that note. Sorry, my friend is having a negotiation that over there to help me purchase it. He's from in Europe, so I won't say in what country, but in Europe, negotiating on something that I'm looking for. Yet, I'm just thinking that I already had commitment there. I shouldn't have another commitment to pay a full price of 1,000 over kind of product. If he's selling me at my price range like 800 at best, but I'm actually asking for him to sell 600 because based on his condition, it should be 600. It's justifiable at 600. But I do understand that he probably got it from someone that he doesn't really understand the condition and the value of this note. He probably paid quite high. He probably paid about 1,200. As a lot of people have seen it, this should be around. Probably he'll get it about 900, or 1,000. He needs to make it a little markup. That's why he's willing to sell at 1,200. Slightly in a profit there. So I probably range that he bought it for 900 to 1,000. That's why he wouldn't want me to meet me at 800 or 600. So I had that feeling. Why is he not hesitant to sell me at that price? And it seems to be a lot of buyers seen the photos that he's shoot out on the condition of this banknote. 1,200 is not really worth for it. You can buy it and then you keep it as it's an investment. You can buy it now for a high price. You pay a little extra, like 1,200. You pay a little extra of 500 ringgit, but you have to keep it very, 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 very long time, more than 10 years, or we can see, or depends on the fluctuation of the market on the demand for this note. If it rise very quickly, you could recover that 500, but it will be very difficult in a short term span. You get a kind of a profit of nearly a 50%, or let's just say that, selling at 2,000 or 2,500 for such a poor condition, as it is. So it is a if you're doing it as an investment, it is a long term game. It's a very, very painstakingly patient game if you want to get a huge sum of profit from this banknote at that price. But if you are a collector, if you have a very big asset or extra disposable income to spend on, let's just say from like me, if I didn't spend anything or I didn't went to convention to buy a lot of the banknotes and so forth, I didn't do online bidding and so forth, yes, in a heartbeat, I would buy this for 1,200 at that point. and maybe I would think about 1,400 as his second offer rather than thinking about the third offer. Now he's offering me third offer for 1,200 this morning. I say, I can't pay you a lump sum. I can make it. Can you make it as installment? I tell him I really want it. Can you make an installment payment? I do know that he wants a lump sum payment because you want to deal with this kind of business transaction short and sweet. Doing the installment payment, if you are not an established business, you know, without signing a contract and a payment promise to pay, it's based on trust and based on time, whether you are able to deal with it. That's another thing. So yeah, an opportunity came to me, is off my hand. This is one of the banknotes I don't. Now actually the 5 yuan for both, the cheap one and the expensive one, I do not have. What I have is based on this one, this series, is that I have second series. I have this one without serial number. Of course, I'm looking for serial numbers, a good condition one. I'm not looking for. I actually can find this in a worse condition. It is, but it's so ugly and dirty. I'm looking for uncirculated with serial number. It costs a little bit more extra. It's definitely not 160 renminbi. Now it's probably around 300 ringgit. That's probably about 700 renminbi for uncirculated one. Same goes to this one and this one for serial numbers. With the Roman numbers only, I actually have it, all of them. Of course, there are a few variations. I do not want to collect variations on the set because I want to clear all the types of notes they have. I go chapter by chapter, but only that singularity of the note. Let's say the significant part, that they have 2 Roman numbers, 3 Roman numbers, 3 Roman numbers with serial numbers. That's it. They actually got a few variations. In Chinese collectors, they have a lot of variation because they collect even these minuscule errors. I already have the tractors one. The tractors one is luckily they have only with serial number and 3 Roman numbers. 3 Roman and serial numbers. I have this one already. Now they're selling at 800 ringgit. That's about 400 to 500 ringgit. I think it's now shooting up to 600. I actually have this one. I also have this one too. I also have this one. Now this one, I'm not too sure. This book did not say anything about it. Of course, this book catalog is actually from China. That's why I don't have an English. If I have an English type version, I would buy an English type version. But right now, they only have Chinese version. This note in particular, this 5 yuan, sorry, 5 jiao, is, I have this one actually, but I noticed that there are some selling it in not in this color. This is purple color over yellow. There is another one like dark pink color and a yellow. At the moment, without hesitant, I would just say that it is a counterfeit. But why is there people buying it? I noticed that people are buying it and is quite aggressive buyers on the red one. So it must be something that is missing the story that I've not known. More research we needed. I actually didn't ask my dealer who specializes in Chinese about this one. But most probably should say that this is the only type. But of course there are other experts out there may differ. They probably say that the pink color one, or red color type, is also genuine, but as an error, or is it a alternative variation? We don't know. I don't know. So that is one of the situation. This one thing I sure know, that this one they have watermark and no watermark, and they're all the same. So yeah, there, like this one, the color is almost like this. 1 yuan. The 1 yuan, I have this one. I have this one, but I don't have the red one, which is the more expensive type. This one is printed in 1953. This is 1956. So this one has more limited numbers of print. Okay, so I don't have this one, just recuperate. I don't have this. I have this. I have this. I don't have this. Now, all this is another crown jewel of a banknote. This is the most highly sorted banknote of this series, other than the 10 yuan. This one, as you can see, a good condition one is selling at 53,000 renminbi or 53,000 yuan. This is very rare to get an uncirculated. If you found an uncirculated auction house, I know it's all hell breaks loose. Every bidders are going out there bidding like mad for it, and some might sacrifice to go beyond the market value price. This is more sought after and very rare and very difficult to acquire. It is a wow factor. This is like a wow factor banknote. We call it the magical bridge banknote. But yes, it is an awkward banknote because it is printed in 3 renminbi. A denomination such as this kind of denomination is very difficult to use and very impractical, because you already have 1 yuan, just need 3 pieces of this, you have 3 yuan. Why are we printing this extra? Might as well just print that 1 renminbi and remove this. So this one actually printed very limited number. Based on the printing, they only printed a very short period of banknotes for this one. And that is why it is expensive. I've seen this in a bad condition, folded, stripped, yellow. It's not so pristine as this catalog shows, but yeah, even that one, the price is staggering at 5 figures. This is one of the like a holy grail for this series 2, the 3 yuan. So definitely I don't have this one. I don't have the 5 yuan for this one, and this one, this two, very expensive. Even this one is quite expensive for uncirculated. But if you get a bad condition, probably you can get it cheaper. And the notorious one in this second series, the 10 yuan or 10 renminbi, this note in particular is always being faced as the most expensive. Let's see, they put up the 3. But if you see in a lot of catalog or Chinese catalog books, they will put this as a display in this, because this type of banknote is a 6-figure banknote today. It is very rare. This is printed in Russia, in the Soviet Union. The quality of the paper, the ink, the engravings and so forth is made and designed in the Soviet Union. They brought it into China for their circulation usage. This type of notes are very, very limited. I actually like to say that even those days in China, peasants did not have possession of this kind of banknote. Only the politician and the elitists in Beijing used to have acquired this note, and they utilize this note. Only the rich people uses this 10 yuan banknote. Only the rich people, and most of them are politicians who have that kind of disposable income at that time in China. And this one, most of the commoners, the farmers, the peasants, the workers may not even see this kind of notes in their lifetime or ever seen it. Is that kind of situation. I felt that this note is that kind of situation. That is why it's staggering price. It's 220,000 renminbi at a good condition. At a mid condition, 130,000 renminbi. 220,000 renminbi, that's equivalent to 100. It's like equivalent to 115 or 120,000 ringgit. It's almost buying a affordable house in Malaysia for this note. We have 130,000 renminbi. Well, that's about 75 to 80,000 ringgit. And if it's in a very bad condition, it's at least 60,000 50,000 renminbi. That's in ringgit cents, about 40 to 45,000 ringgit. 5-figure banknote is the cheapest one, and 6-figure banknote for a good uncirculated condition. And looking for uncirculated is finding needles in the bloody field. It is that rare to find this. If you look at the PMG, the quantity numbers that has been catalogued for the condition, you won't find the good condition such as these in their in their archive. Nobody, the PMG, have ever seen this in a very good condition. They have a lower condition, probably at 45, 40 at best. They have this kind of notes. They've seen it. They have catalog, but the quantity is so little, so rare. It's virtually difficult to find such banknote. And if there is a time when the auction house has it, there is. Just few years back, I think 1 or 2 years back, the Heritage auction actually auctioned out two pieces of the note like this, and they're staggering price. I forgot the exact number, but I do know, I remember it is 6 figures. This is the most, one of the most expensive notes of the entire series, but I can say that the second series, this is the most expensive. Confirmed, I would say in that way. Confirmed. It's expensive. There are other expensive banknotes. Well, I do know the first series one, the expensive one is always something at the back if you see Arabic, because these notes are stipulated in a region to be used in Xinjiang province. The lower the population number in that area, the lesser the quantity they print, and that is one of the reasons it becomes very rare. You look at the price, 25. Look at this. Here says 25,000. 25,000. That's 250,000 renminbi. 6 figures for a good condition like this. Medium, probably mid price, 110,000 renminbi. And then we have another one at the lowest one, probably at 55,000 renminbi. Sorry, around lowest one is about 50,500. This is 110,000, and this is 250,000. Now this is for 5,000 renminbi in Xinjiang province. I will know. This one is in Mongolia region print. This one is a bit. This one is even mad price. Look at that. If I make it, yeah, correct. Yeah, this is even mad. This is 1,000,000. 100,000. 100,000 in Chinese. In Chinese, and in English is 1,000,000 renminbi. That's about, in ringgit, about 650,000 ringgit. This note is 650,000 for uncirculated, 600,000 for middle, and 300,000 for the lowest quality. This is even rarer. I was surprised. I actually don't look at this because this is very high denomination. Then we have this one. This is quite common. I've seen this note being auctioned out, but of course still madly high price. This is around 25,000 renminbi. This is 14,000 renminbi. And this is 5,600 renminbi. Xinjiang province, 10,000 yen. 10,000 yen plus 10,000 renminbi or 10,000 yuan. And the high point, about 1.8 million renminbi, 900,000 renminbi, and 500,000 renminbi. High, mid, low. Now you know. The first series this kind of is a chalice, the golden chalice. Another one in Manchuria. This is in Xinjiang province. This is in the Mongolian region. This one is slightly more cheaper, around 600,000 RMB, 320,000 RMB, and 190,000 RMB. So, and this one, 10,000, this is already quite common in the market. A lot of people do sell this, quite frequently appear in auction, selling 8,000, 4,200, and 2,000. This is more common. This is probably printed for mainland use in China. And another one is this one, 10,000. This one, I've have this one, 7,600. So it's another one very common. Then you have 50,000 renminbi, selling at 110,000. This one is 50,000, 58,000, and 26,000 renminbi. The 50,000 is the highest denomination. This is selling at 250,000, 110,000, and 45,000. So yeah, actually all the high denomination, the back one is the portrait is very nice. Yeah, yeah, very beautiful. So again, the notorious one expensive is this beauty. Nearly 1.8 million. If you hear the word right, 1.8 million renminbi. It is 1 million renminbi. I do know that Xinjiang region's banknotes, under the first series, they are very expensive. Until today, you have not seen this being auctioned out, whether in stacker bowls or in heritage auction. These are very difficult to find and auction out. So yeah, so today that is all I can talk about in my own, basically my own opinion on banknotes. Just recap about China's banknotes collection that I have, and of course my purchase banknote, which is this one, $2 for commemorative banknote, double A, first prefix series. So I actually thought I bought the twice, but no, I did recap on my second thought. That's why I make a decision to buy it, because I know this is double A. The one that I bought it at the convention is AB, so there's no conflict there for me. So it's still, one is generic prefix, one is first prefix, so at least I'm quite happy. Okay, that is all for today. Thank you for listening on this long-winded record. For me, again, as a disclaimer, this is just for my recording for what I have purchased on the day itself. And if I don't say earlier, my apologies. Today's date is 20th April 2024. If I didn't say in the beginning, excuse me, I was forgot to say that. So yeah, for those who are interested, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe if you wish to see further future of my videos or my collection, my so-called journals of my collection. And if you have any opinions or any suggestions or whatever, you can actually write in the comments, leave a comment for me. If you think that I make a mistake in my video, you can actually comment and let me know, because we are all learning curves. Everything is a learning curve, so we learn from it. So thank you very much for today, and I hope to see you very soon next time. Thank you. Bye.